How far would you go just to fit in? Forget tattoos. Forget piercings. Would you let someone file your teeth down to flat little nubs? Break every bone in your feet before you're 6? Stretch your lip out until it can hold a coaster? Right now, these are completely normal, living traditions. And honestly, to the people doing them, you're the weirdo for judging. Today we're looking at 8 of the most extreme traditions on Earth. The first 4 warp the human body. The last 4 get way darker. Like number 1, a guy who spent years turning himself into a literal mummy, locked himself in a box, rang a little bell, and just stopped breathing. It worked, by the way. You can go look at his corpse right now. Anyway, number 8. You're a teenager on the island of Bali. Your whole family is gathered, dressed in their finest, and there are offerings stacked around the room. This is a celebration. It's one of the most important days of your life. And it ends with a priest filing down your teeth. It's called Mepandes. You lie back on a decorated platform. Someone holds a small mirror where you can see your own mouth, and a specialist runs a file across 6 of your upper teeth. The 4 front incisors and the 2 pointed canines. Those canines are the whole point. In Balinese Hindu belief, the sharp animal-like teeth stand for the sad ripu, the 6 enemies that live inside every human being: lust, greed, anger, intoxication, confusion, and jealousy. Grind the animal teeth flat, and you are symbolically grinding those 6 enemies down with them. You are filing the beast out of yourself. Here's what they don't put on the tourist brochure. Until this is done, you are not considered a complete adult. And tradition holds that a soul with unfiled teeth can be recognized as unready and turned away in the life that comes next. So you hold still. You taste the filings, and you let them finish. That's the gentle one. Keep going. Number 7. Now travel back about 1,000 years to China, somewhere around the Song Dynasty. You're a girl, maybe 5 years old, maybe 6. Old enough to run, young enough that your bones are still soft. That's exactly why it has to happen now. Your mother, or your grandmother, takes your foot. She curls your 4 smallest toes down under the sole, and then she presses until they break. Then she wraps the foot in a tight bandage, folding the arch in on itself, and every few days, she pulls that bandage tighter. This goes on for years. The goal is a foot roughly 3 inches long. They gave it a beautiful name, the 3-inch golden lotus. Small enough to rest in the palm of a man's hand. It was the height of beauty, and for centuries, it was the difference between a good marriage and no marriage at all. The reality was infection, broken arches that never set, toenails growing into skin, and a lifetime of walking on the sides of your own feet. And here's the part that stays with me. It wasn't forced on these girls by strangers. It was done, lovingly, by the women who came before them, who had survived the exact same thing, and believed they were giving their daughters a future. The custom lasted roughly 1,000 years. It was finally outlawed in 1912. And there are women who had bound feet who are still alive within the last decade. Number 6. Now cross into the green hills along the border of Myanmar and Thailand to a people called the Kayan. You already know the image, even if you don't know the name. The long-neck women, stacked in gleaming brass coils that run from the collarbone all the way up to the jaw. The first coil goes on around age 5. As she grows, more are added, one at a time, year after year, until a woman may be carrying 20 to 25 coils. The full stack can weigh around 10 kilograms. The final change, done near the age of 45, can weigh even more. But here's the thing. Everybody gets wrong. the neck is not actually getting longer. That much brass, pressing down every hour of every day for decades, slowly pushes the collarbone and the upper ribs downward. The shoulders fold into a kind of inverted V. The neck only looks stretched. It's an optical illusion, built out of a quietly deforming skeleton. Take the coils off after all those years, and the muscles underneath have weakened and wasted. It's uncomfortable, unfamiliar, exposed. So many women simply never take them off. They wear them working, sleeping, all of it. And today, there's a strange final twist. Many of these women live in villages that survive on tourism, where visitors pay to photograph the rings. A tradition about beauty and identity has quietly become a tradition about being looked at. Number 5. Head down into the Omo Valley, in the far south of Ethiopia, to the Mercy and the Surma. Roughly 6 months to a year before her wedding, a young woman has her lower lip cut open, and a small wooden peg is slipped through the wound. As it heals, the peg is swapped for a slightly larger one, then larger still. Over months, the lip stretches into a loop of skin big enough to hold a clay or wooden plate the size of a saucer. To make room, the 2 lower front teeth are usually knocked out. And the size is not an accident. A bigger lip plate is tied to a bigger bride price, a marriage negotiated sometimes in head of cattle. In this tradition, a swinging disc of clay becomes a public, visible measure of a bride's worth on her wedding day. She can take the plate out. When she does, the empty lip hangs loose below the chin. But she wears it for the moments that matter, when the whole community is watching. That is the last tradition on this list that only reshapes the living body. From here, it gets worse. Number 4. India. A shrine in Solapur, and a handful of others scattered across the country. A man climbs a stone tower, about 15 meters up. That's the height of a 5-story building. Cradled in his arms is a baby, often less than 2 years old, sometimes only a few weeks. Below him, a crowd of men grab the 4 corners of a bedsheet and pull it tight. Drums are playing. People are cheering. And then he holds the baby out over the edge, and he lets go. The infant falls the full 15 meters, plunges into the stretched sheet, bounces once, and is scooped up and handed back to its parents, screaming, unharmed, and they believe, blessed. Better health, longer life, good fortune. Both Muslim and Hindu families take part. The custom is said to be around 500 years old, tracing back to a holy man who told grieving parents to show their faith by trusting the divine with their children. Child welfare authorities have tried to ban it for years, and every year, somebody climbs back up the tower with somebody's baby. Number 3. The Philippines. Good Friday. A dusty village called San Pedro Quetud in the province of Pampanga. In brutal midday heat, a man drags a full wooden cross down a road lined with spectators and tourists holding up phones. He reaches a low mound of earth. He lies down on the cross. And then men dressed as Roman soldiers take 4-inch stainless steel nails, soaked in alcohol to try to keep them clean, and hammer them straight through his palms and his feet into the wood. Real nails. That is the detail people cannot accept. They assume it's an act, a harness, fake blood. It is not. The nails go through. He hangs there for a few minutes, is lifted down, and gets his wounds treated. He chose this. It's a panada, a vow, often made in thanks for a prayer that was answered, or a life that was spared. The most famous of them is a sign painter named Ruben Anaje. He first did it after surviving a fall from a building, and then he came back and did it again, and again, and again, until he had been nailed to that cross 35 times. The Catholic Church has asked repeatedly for all of it to stop. Every Good Friday, they do it anyway. Number 2. Nepal. The Gadhimai Temple at Bariarpur, about 160 kilometers south of Kathmandu. It happens once every 5 years. Hundreds of thousands of people walk for days to get there, and they don't come empty-handed. They bring buffalo, goats, chickens, pigeons, because they've come to offer the goddess Gadhimai a life in exchange for a wish, prosperity, a child, a cure. The story goes that centuries ago the goddess appeared to a prisoner and promised him power in return for blood. She's been collecting ever since. Over 2 days, inside a walled arena, appointed handlers carry out the single largest animal sacrifice on the planet. In 2009, the count was estimated between 250,000 and 500,000 animals. The field runs red. Even after years of international pressure, the 2019 festival still took around 250,000 lives. In 2015, the Temple Trust announced it would end the slaughter forever. Then the next festival came, and it happened anyway. Which brings us finally to the man behind the glass. Number 1. Japan. And this is the one people still argue should not have been physically possible. For centuries, certain Buddhist monks tried to do something almost beyond belief. They tried to turn themselves into a mummy while still alive. They called the goal becoming a Buddha in one's own body. And it was not quick. It was a slow, deliberate, multi-year descent. First came a diet called Mokuji Kigyo. For 1,000 days, the monk ate nothing but nuts, seeds, bark, and roots, and drove himself through hard physical labor until every last gram of fat was stripped from his body. Fat rots. Fat had to go. Then came the part that turns your stomach. He began drinking a tea brewed from the sap of the urushi tree, the same sap used to make lacquer. It is poisonous. It made him vomit. It purged the fluid from his body. And crucially, it saturated his flesh with toxins, so that after death, no insect and no bacteria would dare touch him. He was, in a very real sense, embalming himself from the inside, while his heart was still beating. And then, when he was ready, he was lowered into a stone tomb barely larger than his own folded body. It was sealed. He was left with a single tube for air and a single small bell. Every day, from inside that tomb, in the dark, he rang the bell. It was the only signal to the monks outside that he was still alive. And then one day, the bell did not ring. They waited, not hours, not days. They waited another 1,000 days. Then they broke the tomb open to see what the darkness had done. Almost every time, they found a body that had simply rotted away. The attempt had failed, but not every time. Between the 11th century and the 20th, roughly 24 monks are believed to have succeeded. Japan finally outlawed the practice in 1877, and the last known attempt died illegally in 1903. The ones who made it were dressed in fresh robes and set in place in their temples, where a handful of them still sit today. One of them, Shinyokai Shonin, has been on display for more than a century and a half. That's him. That's the man behind the glass from the very start of this video. He is still there. You could go and stand in front of him. 8 traditions. 4 that reshaped the body, and 4 that reached further, into the crowd, the shrine, and the tomb. And here's the uncomfortable part. The thing I can't quite shake. Every single one of these made complete, obvious sense to the people doing it. To them, we are the strange ones. The culture with no rite of passage. No mark we carry. Nothing we would break a bone or empty a vein for. Somewhere in the world, right now, Someone is looking at one of your traditions with the exact expression you've had on your face for the last 10 minutes. That's the footnote history tends to leave off. Not just that these things were done, but that somebody, somewhere, was completely certain they were beautiful. I'm Stinky. I'll keep digging up the parts they left out. I'll see you in the next one.